You step into a doctor's office, get a routine blood draw, and the lab report comes back marked completely normal. For years, we have trusted these standard baseline reference ranges as absolute, unshakable proof of our physical health. If your lab values fall neatly between the lines, you assume your body and brain are firing on all cylinders. But a terrifying, paradigm-shifting medical study suggests that our current laboratory guidelines are harboring a massive blind spot. When it comes to your brain health, a normal lab result might actually be a hidden mask for early brain damage. Groundbreaking clinical research reveals that standard minimum guidelines for vitamin B12 are putting millions of older brains at risk. People are being confidently told that their nutrition is fine, while their neurological systems are actively showing signs of strain. We are entering a new era of functional medicine where simply avoiding a clinical deficiency is no longer enough. To protect long-term cognitive processing and physical independence, we must redefine what optimal nutrition truly means for the mind. Like and subscribe to the channel visual link if you want to master the deep scientific breakthroughs rewriting human health. To understand this hidden neurological crisis, we have to look at the traditional role of vitamin B12 in the body. B12 is a foundational micronutrient, best known for helping our biological systems manufacture DNA and produce vital red blood cells. It is also completely essential for maintaining the health of our complex, interconnected web of neural nerve tissue. For decades, the medical establishment defined B12 deficiency primarily through the lens of a severe blood disorder called macrocytic anemia. If you had enough B12 to prevent anemia, your doctor checked the box and assumed your nervous system was safe. The standard cutoff in the United States is set at a meager 148 picomoles per liter of blood. But a brilliant, newly published study led by researchers at the University of California, San Francisco, shatters that complacency. The research team wanted to know if these historic, blunt guidelines were completely failing to protect the aging human brain. They set out to analyze the structural health of adults who were considered completely healthy by traditional medical standards. They utilized data from the Brain Aging Network for Cognitive Health Study, tracking 231 healthy participants. The participants had an average age of 71, with absolutely no clinical signs of dementia or mild cognitive impairment. Crucially, their average blood B12 level was over 400 picomoles per liter, nearly triple the official U.S. deficiency cutoff. By all traditional standards of modern healthcare, these individuals were the absolute picture of optimal nutritional health. But the UCSF researchers decided to look much deeper, bypassing total serum B12 to measure the biologically active form. Active B12 is the exact variation of the molecule that your cells and brain tissue can actually utilize for daily function. What they discovered when they mapped this active nutrient against cognitive performance shocked the neurology community to its core. After adjusting for age, sex, education, and cardiovascular risks, a troubling, undeniable statistical pattern instantly emerged. Participants with lower levels of active B12, even while remaining inside the normal range, exhibited significantly slower cognitive processing speeds. They took drastically longer to process information, solve problems, and complete standard cognitive thinking tests. The negative effect on cognitive processing speed became exponentially stronger and more pronounced with older age. If you are fascinated by the hidden medical data and deep biological science rewriting human longevity, hit that like button. The cognitive slowdown was paired with delayed responses to visual stimuli, pointing to reduced signaling efficiency across the visual cortex. But the most alarming evidence didn't come from the written cognitive tests. It came directly from advanced brain imaging. When researchers looked at the participants' structural MRI scans, they uncovered visible, physical injury inside the brain. Individuals with lower active B12 displayed a significantly higher volume of what radiologists call white matter lesions. White matter is the delicate infrastructure of nerve fibers that allows different regions of the brain to communicate with each other. When white matter degrades, it forms lesions, permanent areas of brain injury heavily linked to cognitive decline, dementia, and stroke. This means structural brain damage is actively accumulating in secret, even when a standard blood test says you are fine. The study highlights a massive functional weakness in the way modern medicine diagnoses nutritional deficiencies. The minimum thresholds used today are far too blunt to capture early, subtle functional changes happening within the nervous system. Previous studies missed these manifestations because they only looked for overt, severe symptoms like anemia or full-blown dementia. But the brain starts suffering from nutritional starvation long before the rest of the body shows signs of clinical disease. Redfining these standard baseline values is becoming an absolute matter of urgency for global public health. Don't forget to subscribe to Visual Link and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep analytical scientific breakdowns. Older adults are uniquely vulnerable to this hidden brain drain because human digestion naturally becomes less efficient over time. As we age, the stomach produces less acid, making it incredibly difficult to extract B12 from animal-based foods. Common medications, underlying digestive conditions, and plant-based diets can further deplete these vital active nutrient reserves. Co-first author Alexandra Baudry-Richard warned that low but technically normal B12 impacts global cognition to a massive extent. It is highly likely affecting a much larger percentage of the aging population than the medical community previously realized. Because B12 insufficiency is a completely preventable cause of cognitive decline, the stakes of this research are incredibly high. Recent medical literature adds important, nuanced context to this rapidly evolving neurological conversation. A comprehensive clinical review confirmed that B12 remains one of the single most modifiable risk factors for protecting aging brains. The review emphasized that we must immediately adopt better, highly sensitive biomarkers and advanced brain imaging to catch decline early. However, parallel randomized trials offer a crucial, balanced warning for those looking for a simple magic pill solution. Massive meta-analyses show that blanket B vitamin supplementation produces only a very small benefit for the general, healthy public. Furthermore, advanced genetic studies using Mendelian randomization found no proof that genetically higher total B12 protects everyone universally. But there is a massive catch. Those genetic studies measured total serum B12, completely ignoring the bioactive form used by UCSF. The emerging consensus points to a highly precise, carefully tailored approach to cognitive nutrition. Simply telling the entire world to blindly megadose on random supplements is not the answer to global cognitive decline. The urgent medical mission is identifying the specific individuals whose brains are actively starving despite having normal blood tests. Clinicians must begin looking past total numbers, especially when an older patient presents with subtle neurological symptoms. Redefining B12 deficiency to include active functional biomarkers could allow for early, targeted interventions that halt dementia before it starts. For everyday people, this research delivers a powerful, practical lesson about taking personal sovereignty over your health data. A standard, normal lab result should never be treated as the final, absolute word on your internal physical reality. If you or a loved one are noticing subtle changes in memory, thinking speed, or visual processing, investigate further. Demand that your healthcare provider look at active, functional biomarkers like holotranscobalamin or methylmalonic acid. We cannot afford to let outdated, blunt industrial guidelines dictate the long-term survival of our cognitive faculties. The human brain is a highly sensitive, elegant organ that requires precise molecular conditions to maintain its peak performance. By engineering our diets, tracking our specific data, and listening to advanced science, we can protect our minds from silent decay. True longevity is not just about keeping the physical body alive. It is about defending the clarity of human consciousness. Take charge of your nutritional strategy. Look beneath the surface of basic lab metrics and apply rigorous logic to your wellness. The transition to a highly optimized life requires us to question old dogmas and embrace the frontier of precision medicine. The road to neurological resilience is built on proactive, data-driven decisions that respect the deep biology of the brain. Never forget that the ultimate limit of human potential is always expanded when we apply deep science to protect our health. Stay curious, stay disciplined, and keep engineering your ultimate path to cognitive freedom. So hit that like and subscribe button for Visual Link.